Hello there. Welcome to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly and it's time to share. Hip hip hooray! It is my favorite time of the month where I take one paper theme or line and I show 3 different ways. So I have a 28-page scrapbook layout share tonight, 3 different workshops, 3 different levels, 3 different styles. So I like to choose a theme each month. This month's theme for March is Storybook. And in that month, I will put together the 6-page company workshop. I will create a 10-page Simply Scrappin Workshop for my simple scrappers. And I will create a 12-page Sparkle and Shine workshop for my elevated scrappers or my scrappers who really love all the things and they love to elevate their pages and add added techniques to those. So I'm so excited to share with you Storybook, and I'm so excited to show you 3 different ways. So I like to start with the simplest version, and the simplest version to me is the Stampin Up Storybook Life Scrapbooking Workshop Kit. Why I think the workshop kits, the company workshops are the easiest place to start. This is how I learned how to scrapbook, and I learned lots of different techniques and ways to scrapbook. But one of the reasons that it was so wonderful is everything is included in the scrapbooking workshop kit except for basic supplies. So you'll need a paper trimmer, you'll need a scissor, you'll need adhesive, but basically the instructions are super easy. You pull everything out. You do have an optional technique that they will be teaching during this so that you slowly learn new techniques each month that you do a scrapbooking workshop kit. So they're very simple to cut. They're very easy to put together. But when you're a beginner scrapper, and even if you're not a beginner scrapper, but you just like to get your photos and your memories down on pages, these are quick and easy to put together. So let's take a look at layout number 1. Basically, they have really, really large punch outs in Storybook for the scrapbooking workshop kit. So this frame is a large punch out. The goose is a large punch out. And then we have some stickers here. So they've basically added pattern paper in the background and added the punch outs and a few little strips of pattern paper here. You can see how simple and easy to put together it is. Very functional, large photo opportunities. So you would just mount one photo behind the frame. I did pop up a couple things with foam tape, and that would have been the only change that I made to this layout. Otherwise, it's done exactly as the instructions show. Layout number 2 is also simple and pattern oriented. Now there was an optional technique with layout number 2. So these butterflies came in a little carrier sheet that you punch out of, and they took the carrier sheet and used the negative space and laid it against the lagoon paper and rubbed ink on that and used it as a stencil to make little inked butterflies in the background. I actually didn't read the instructions and I threw away the negatives piece, and so I didn't have the stencil to be able to do that. But that's the additional technique in this workshop. But otherwise, you've got paper strips, you've got your photo opportunities, and adding punch outs and stickers. That's all that they did in this, other than the optional inking technique. And so the reason that they add a little bit of technique into each one is an optional elevation. So if you're just learning to put balanced pages together, you can do the scrapbooking workshop kit and then add maybe one tiny technique that's a simple technique so that it's not overwhelming to learn so many techniques at once. So here you can see this one. This one happened to be my favorite one out of the 6-page workshop. I love the large frame in the background. So instead of using it as a traditional frame, they just used it as a decorative piece in the background. And then they had large strawberry stickers on this sticker sheet and floral stickers. Sweet is a sticker, and this banner is a sticker, and the rest were just little punch outs. So you barely have any pattern paper here at all. You have a couple little strips here, a couple little strips here, and then the photos can do the talking. And that is the Stampin' Up! 6-page scrapbooking workshop that's created out of the Storybook Life Scrapbooking Workshop kit. Now let's go on to the Simply Scrappin. Simply Scrappin, I guarantee that my scrappers do not have to have any additional equipment. No Cricut, no die cutter, no inks, no stamping. Now, could you? Absolutely. There's tons of elevating that you could do to these pages by inking or stamping or adding things in the background, but these are designed to be so simple to put together. So you can see with this one, we've basically got 2 pieces of pattern paper and a single strip in between, 2 pieces of pattern paper and a single strip in between, some clusters of some photos, and then I've simply decorated it with stickers and punch out ephemera. The only thing that I did do extra was I cut out a few strawberries that were on a cut apart sheet, and so that I had some extra strawberries to tie in the theme. But you can see all the little characters. I used this, my granddaughter Claire Adeline and my grandson Waylon James were over at Grandma's house coloring Easter eggs. And then the next one here, I also chose to do an Easter theme because we had all of the bunnies in that pattern paper. Again, very simple, very easy. 3 paper strips here and the paper strips across the top. You have a little banner here that is directly from the sticker sheet, and the rest of the elements are all punch out ephemera or stickers. I did a little markering here where I made the little butterfly trails, added some vintage pearls, and that is it. This is little Waylon James dyeing Easter eggs on Grandma's kitchen table. This one, basic banner element, I think it was the last one in the series, and I don't think I had much left. So a banner layout like this is such an easy go-to if you don't have any paper left hardly. You can just dovetail the bottoms, and of course, you could elevate it by adding string across the top. You could make a marker banner. There are lots of things you could do there. Obviously, there's a lot of white space because this is supposed to be simple, but you could add inking, splattering, or other different techniques with this. But I basically used foam tape and made some little clusters with the ephemera and the stickers. Again, did a little butterfly trail with a marker. Actually, it was a black Le Pen, clustered some of the elements. There's so much ephemera that comes in the Storybook Moments pattern paper and sticker sheet, or designer series paper and sticker sheet. So many punch outs. You will have so much to be able to use on your simple pages. A lot of times with simple pages, I have to do more fussy cutting because we're not using die cuts, we're not using stamps, and we're not using the Cricut. So it typically does end up being a lot more fussy cutting, but there was hardly any fussy cutting in this one at all because of all the punch out ephemera that was included in the designer series paper. So this one I do have a full process video for, so I will link that in the description, but I actually mounted strips on cardstock and tore the bottom to have kind of an interesting background element there. There's cut apart cards here that are, I think, 3x4 that I used as background elements as well. Once I put the photos on the background elements, I just clustered 2 little icons. So we had 2, 2, 2, 2, and then of course the title. Added the title and then used filled the bottom space up with my journaling. This was a county fair birthday party for my granddaughter Hattie Elaine. The last Simply Scrappin one, and I did add the Storybook Life coordinating cardstock to the designer series paper pack and sticker sheet. And so that's why you see the different colors of cardstock on all of the layouts, because I was using just that cardstock that was in the complimentary cardstock pack, or the coordinating cardstock pack, and two-tone cardstock pack. And then I did add white as well. So I think I may have added maybe a sheet or two of the cherry cobbler. All right, so this one I did make some handmade tags just by snipping off the corners of rectangles, added stickers to those tags, and then the background is that busy floral garden. So I, garden paper, or floral garden, busy garden paper, excuse me. So I just added that to a little background transition to that, and pattern paper strips. And this is our spring calving. And then our little grandson, Waylon James, and one of his favorite calves, Brownie, who looks full grown next to Waylon James. And that is the Simply Scrappin, the 10-page Simply Scrappin. So now let's move on to the 12-page Sparkle and Shine. And interesting enough, the 12-page Sparkle and Shine is created out of the same base ingredients as the 6-page Stampin' Up! Company workshop. So it's created out of the workshop kit. The base ingredients of this one and the base ingredients of this one are the same. They both use the scrapbooking workshop kit. This one is 6 pages. This one is 12. This one you add very little to it. Basically your adhesive and your basic supplies. And this one you would add cardstock to it, the coordinating cardstock, plus I added some cherry cobbler and a couple other little colors. And I added Cricut Cuts to this as well. And then I added the antique pearls to this as well. And then we also did some inking with some different inks, and I'll show you some of those techniques. We added a few flip flaps as well. So on the Sparkle and Shine, it's adding all the things. Okay, so basic grid style background. Added a Cricut title, A Little Dirt Never Hurt. I thought this would be great for my berry picking. I make jelly every year, so this would be great for my berry picking. We also have some pictures of the grandkids in the garden. I thought this would be good for. It would actually be kind of cute for just playing in the dirt as well. So I did the basic grid. I gutted out some of the specialty paper. So the strawberry paper is specialty paper that only comes in the workshop kit. You can't get it in the designer series paper or anywhere else except for the workshop kit. So I gutted that frame in the background, and then I did add flip flaps for extra photo opportunities. So you can actually get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 photo opportunities on this layout. You could even add another flip flap to this. You could add more photos to some of these squares, but I really loved the country simplicity of it, of having it be clean and grid style. And I love the title, a few Cricut leaves here, and this little journal spot was a punch out. I haven't done my berry picking for this year yet, so I'm reserving this for that. This next one I have a full process video for, and I'll link that in the description, because we created some faux wood grain backgrounds. So we did scoring on white cardstock, and then we ran ink pads across that to create this wood grain and this wood grain. So just to be able to stretch and to have a different background besides a plain background. And so I really love that look, and I go into great detail on that process video as to how you create that, and you can create that yourself. I added just Cricut leaves from the Cricut, and then the cherry cobbler here. Actually, I think it goes this way. There were only about about 3 title opportunities in the sticker sheet on this one, and that's what I love about the upcoming catalog in May. The sticker sheets for the scrapbooking, the 4 scrapbooking workshop kits that we're getting in May have small, medium, and large words, small, medium, and large icons, and at least 5 to 8 title opportunities on each sticker sheet or ephemera. With this one, and this being some of the first workshop kits that Stampin' Up put out, there were only 3 large titles. So there was really large pieces in the scrapbooking workshop kit, but not a lot of small, medium, and large. So I would typically add, smaller words, larger words, subtitles, titles, but I had to stretch this in different ways because it had larger icons. So layering of paper in the background, dovetailing of the cardstock, adding the Cricut elements, the butterflies are punch outs, and same with the journal is a punch out, and then the little banner is a sticker. And I did inking of all the edges of everything with pecan pie. And these are just some family photos from our annual camping trip. This next one, I did the same technique, created my own wood grain background on this one as well, but using the Lost Lagoon with the, I believe it was either pecan pie ink or it could have been close to my heart, toffee, over the top. So scoring this way. So you can see on this one, where I created the wood grain faux background, I used it this way. And then on this one, I used it this way. So it's kind of fun to be able to vary. And then there's the leftover wood grain that I created for this one, I used on this one. So some basic strips on the bottom. This is a carrot sticker from the sticker sheet, and these corners are from the sticker sheet. These large frames were the punch outs. When I talked about there being very large pieces in this workshop, the goose was a punch out, the frames were a punch out. This was the throwaway piece from inside this frame, and I just used it to frame my granddaughter Ramsey Kate in there. Charlie's even in the picture wearing the bunny ears. So I focused on Easter with this one again, and the Easter bunny left tracks and bunny poop. I think they were chocolate covered raisins, and so you can see Ramsey Kate's surprise when she sees the bunny tracks on the kitchen floor. And so, yeah, I love the way that one turned out, so rusticy. I just really kind of struggled at first with these really large elements, and I am one who loves large elements, but these were a little bit of a struggle to figure out how to put them together and to make them jive together, but I do like how it did end up turning out. This next one is so soft and subtle. It ended up being one of my favorites. And as you can see, I'm using a variety of colors in the background because I'm using, again, I've added to the scrapbooking workshop kit, the Storybook Live coordinating cardstock. And so there's different colors in each layout so that I can use the colors from that coordinating pack and just primarily add white. I did add a little bit of copper clay and a little bit of cherry cobbler, and we'll get to the copper clay here. So this one, I made this large dovetail by slicing a rectangle into 2 longer triangles so I could make that dovetailed look over there. I took smaller squares and used a corner rounder on just 2 of the corners so that it was a little bit different than just a standard square, and then just photo strips. But you could easily, because these are standard size photos, use a flip flap. And then of course the veggies, I just focused on the veggies that were on the sticker sheet. And so I thought, well, this might be really nice for gardening or for other outdoor things, spring walks. And then I added just a couple of the Cricut leaves here and the punch out butterfly as well. There's a little bean sticker here, and then this one over here was a punch out. So simple, but it ended up being one of my favorites. And also because it has a masculine vibe. So if you've got a man in your life who does the gardening or who's outdoors doing things, I think this would be great for them as well, not just for yourself. So this one It's not the last one that I'm showing tonight, but it was my last layout in the series of 12 pages for Sparkle and Shine. And boy, did I struggle, because there was 0 ephemera left, 0 punch outs, and 0 stickers left by the time I got to the last page in the series. And so I was like, what can I do? There was some of the really bright strawberry paper, this paper right here left. There was some of that left, and just very few scraps left, and the plaids, a couple of the plaids left. And I thought, well, since the plaids are left, let's go masculine. So I added a few Cricut leaves here and a few Cricut chevrons. I actually wrote this title on with the Cricut because I had 0 titles left. And then I colored that in with Stampin' Blends. And then this is where I brought in the copper clay. And what I love about this is that we just found out, of course, that the 2023 to 2025 in colors are retiring. So copper clay and boho blue. So this boho blue was in the coordinating cardstock, but I did add a little bit of the copper clay, and I thought, yay, I'm going to get to use it before it goes and retires in May. And then I did bring in just a couple little few textured dots because the pearls didn't go so well. But what I thought about with this one is that Handsome and Handy could be still among the gardening themes. So I didn't add a lot of other icons, because your Handsome and Handy might be shoveling or gardening, or your Handsome and Handy could be tools, like maybe building or Mr. Fix-It. So I thought you could easily add and personalize with some handy icons there. The last one, you saw the left page because I did a full process video of this barn layout. I did this layout for a sketch hop featuring large backgrounds or large overlays, but I didn't do a companion page in that video. So for the companion page, I just carried over the theme. So I had done some distressing and some tearing here in a couple spots and put some plaid behind the tearing. So I did that here and here just to carry the theme over. I added the gate here, the fence gate, kind of on an angle or kind of sideways. I did fussy cut just these 3 little strawberries out of the pattern paper because, like I said, in this collection, the icons were so huge and we didn't really get any small or medium icons, just these big, large ones. And so I did cut that out as a little bit of filler, and then I used the Cricut leaves on that, and then added the pearls. I did inking on all of the edges on most all of the pages. So there you have the 12-page Sparkle and Shine. So let's very quickly go back through all of the pages, and I will just let you grab your screenshots if you want to. So let's start with the company workshop again. The 6-page company workshop created with the scrapbooking workshop kit. Storybook Life. Okay. Layout number 3. And then let's go to the 10-page Simply Scrappin made out of Storybook Moments, designer series pattern paper and sticker sheet. Okay. 10-page Simply Scrappin. Sometimes sometimes I like Simply Scrappin better. Sometimes I like Sparkle and Shine better. Sometimes I like them both. Sometimes I like one or the other. It just depends. So it depends on my photos. So I like my paper crafters to have a choice. I like them to be able to choose their style and their budget. Obviously Simply Scrappin is a lower price point than Sparkle and Shine is, and also simpler to put together. So it's kind of nice for people to choose what works for their style, their taste, and their budget. So now we're on the Sparkle and Shine 12-page. And I always love to hear from you and let me know which layouts in the series were your favorites and also what kind of a scrapper you are. And sometimes that changes depending on the theme or the line. So I would love to hear which workshop you love best. And that is a wrap for my March theme, which is Storybook 28 pages. I hope you enjoyed the layout share. And if you've enjoyed tonight's video, won't you hit like, subscribe, the notifications bell, shoot me a comment and share. It sure goes a long ways on YouTube and it keeps me sharing. Thank you so much. Happy scrapping and come back soon for more right here on Snips by Kelly. Bye-bye.